In 1976, Norman E. Brinker launched Bennigan's in Atlanta with a vision: bring Irish pub warmth to suburban America. By the early 80s, it exploded nationwide. Brass railings, Tiffany lamps, and that green and white color scheme screamed comfortable escape. The menu delivered what America craved: loaded potato skins that revolutionized appetizers, Monte Cristo sandwiches, and legendary death by chocolate desserts. Then came the actual death by chocolate, corporate restructuring. When Grand Metropolitan acquired Pillsbury in 1989, bean counters replaced passionate restaurateurs. Those crispy potato skins, now lukewarm and soggy. The perfectly fried Monte Cristo, suddenly greasy and inconsistent. By 2008, Bennigan's filed bankruptcy, shuttering 150 locations overnight. Employees arrived for shifts to find locked doors and termination notices taped to windows. The Bennigans you remember died when accountants decided Irish charm could be quantified on spreadsheets. Can celebrity save a restaurant chain? Dan Blocker, Hoss Cartwright from TV's Bonanza, certainly tried. In 1963, he launched Bonanza Steakhouse with a brilliant concept: affordable steaks in a Western setting where families customized everything. Choose your cut, pick your preparation, then hit an unlimited salad bar, all under $15 per person. At its peak, Bonanza commanded 600 locations. Friday nights meant crowded parking lots and wait times. But by the mid-'80s, complaints rolled in. The steak arrived overcooked and tough. The salad bar looked sad with wilted lettuce and questionable potato salad. Western charm couldn't mask aggressively mediocre food. Traffic plummeted. The chain cycled through ownership changes like desperate CPR attempts. Today, only a handful survive in rural areas where nostalgia outweighs quality. Dan Blocker's dream died from the very cost-cutting that made it affordable. But if declining quality seems bad, buckle up. Our next chain literally killed its customers. Before Chipotle, before every strip mall had a burrito joint, there was Chi-Chi's. For millions in the 80s, Chi-Chi's was Mexican food. Founded in 1975, Chi-Chi's brought Tex-Mex to regions that had never seen tacos. Servers shouted Chi-Chi's while carrying sizzling fajita platters. The free chips and salsa were legendary. With over 200 locations, families made it weekly tradition. Then came November 2003, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It started with a few customers feeling ill. Within days, Pennsylvania health officials investigated what became the largest Hepatitis A outbreak in U.S. history. The source: contaminated green onions at a Beaver Valley Mall location. 660 people infected, 4 dead. Relentless news coverage. By December 2003, the entire chain filed bankruptcy. Every single location closed permanently. A brand built over decades evaporated in weeks. Today, Chi-Chi's only exists as supermarket salsa, a ghost reminding us that in restaurants, one mistake is fatal. Do you remember your last meal at Chi-Chi's? What did you order? Drop it in the comments below. Frank Carney co-founded Pizza Hut and conquered America's Italian food appetite. So in the 70s, he eyed fried chicken and thought, I can do better. Brewster's Chicken promised crispy, flavorful chicken cooked cholesterol-free, a massive selling point in health-conscious America. Early reviews were genuinely positive. Customers loved the crunch and homemade-tasting sides. But scaling fried chicken isn't like scaling pizza. As Brewster's expanded rapidly into the 80s, franchise locations couldn't maintain consistency. One served perfectly crispy chicken, while another served soggy disaster. The cholesterol-free method that worked small-scale became a liability at volume. Franchisees cut corners. Quality control became impossible. Ingredient costs soared. Competition from KFC and Popeyes intensified. By the late 80s, Brewster's was gone, proof that even industry legends can miscalculate. Picture 1980. Graydon D. Webb opened the most aggressively nostalgic restaurant in America. Chrome fixtures, checkered floors, paper hats, and Elvis crooning from antique jukeboxes while customers devoured handcrafted burgers and hand-dipped ice cream. G.D. Ritzy's weaponized 50s nostalgia before it became trendy. And it worked. Customers flooded in for customizable burgers and small batch ice cream that generated $5.2 million in 1984 alone. Webb's strategy was sound. While McDonald's chased efficiency, Ritzy's chased quality. Every burger made to order, every milkshake hand-spun, every fry cut fresh daily. But here's the fatal flaw. You can't actually turn back time. By the late 80s, Ritzy's cut corners. Fresh fries came in frozen. Hand-dipped ice cream became soft serve. Customers complained burgers tasted old, not retro old, literally sitting under heat lamps old. Webb admitted the chain gradually shrunk to just 7 locations. When you build your brand on quality and authenticity, you can't quietly switch to frozen and processed without customers noticing. Today, 1 location remains in Kentucky, a lonely reminder that nostalgia without substance is just empty calories. We're halfway through, and trust me, the next 5 get even wilder. One tried to make pizza an event, another was owned by a pharmacy chain, and one promised unlimited everything until the math stopped working. If you're enjoying this trip down memory lane, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep going. Let's be honest about Shakey's Pizza Parlor. Founded in 1954 by Sherwood Shakey Johnson, people didn't come for the pizza. They came for the show. Every Shakey's featured live entertainment, ragtime piano, banjo players, Dixieland jazz, creating chaotic joy. Restaurants printed song lyrics on menus for sing-alongs. Open kitchens let you watch pizza being made. Revolutionary then. The experience was an event, not just a meal. The strategy worked brilliantly. Shakey's expanded to hundreds of U.S. locations with international franchises. Friday nights, families packed dining rooms, kids banging tables to When the Saints Go Marching In. But then someone actually tasted the pizza. Complaints were consistent. Greasy, bland, poorly presented, forgettable. Crust either undercooked or burned. Sparse toppings, generic cheese. One archived 80s review called it cardboard with ketchup. For years, entertainment compensated for mediocre food. But by the late 80s, customers had options. Pizza Hut offered better pizza. Domino's delivered faster. Local pizzerias crushed chain quality. When you build on spectacle instead of substance, people eventually realize they're paying $15 for a show and $2 pizza. The banjo music couldn't drown out truth anymore. Here's a sentence that should never exist. In the 1970s, Walgreens decided to compete with Denny's. Yes, the pharmacy chain thought they could crack restaurants. Thus, Wags was born, a 24-hour diner concept built adjacent to drugstores across the Midwest. Customers could shop for toiletries, then grab breakfast. Convenience, efficiency. In practice, Walgreens learned pharmaceutical expertise doesn't transfer to pancakes. At its peak, Wags operated 91 locations serving standard diner fare. Eggs, burgers, sandwiches, all perfectly mediocre. The core problem was obvious to everyone except executives. The food was bad. Not offensively bad, just aggressively forgettable. Customers consistently rated Wags below competitors on every metric: taste, quality, service, atmosphere. By 1988, Walgreens admitted defeat and sold most locations to Marriott Corporation. They retreated to filling prescriptions and pretended the restaurant experiment never happened. "I'll feed you like there's no tomorrow." That was Beefsteak Charlie's slogan, and they meant it. Founded in New York in the mid-70s, they promised something audacious: unlimited everything. For under $20, you got all-you-can-eat shrimp, unlimited salad bar, bottomless beer and wine, and massive ribs and steak. Gluttony packaged as value. By 1984, they commanded 60 New York locations. The chain became so embedded, it appeared on SNL and Friends. It was where families celebrated, first dates happened, where you'd eat after Broadway until you couldn't move. But unlimited everything has a fatal flaw: math. The model relied on customers eating moderate amounts. When people took unlimited seriously, and they did, profit margins evaporated. The chain tried cutting portions and lowering quality. Nothing worked. In 1987, Beefsteak Charlie sold to Bombay Palace restaurants in desperation. The new owners couldn't fix fundamentals. You can't offer unlimited premium items at budget prices and survive. Not in Manhattan, not with rising costs. By the late 80s, Beefsteak Charlie's closed completely. The slogan turned darkly prophetic. Tomorrow came and there was no Beefsteak Charlie's. In 1967, Clarence Hartwig opened Gobbler Supper Club on Route 94 in Wisconsin, and it looked like a UFO serving turkey. Circular building, psychedelic interior, and at center, a revolutionary revolving bar where customers drank while slowly spinning 360 degrees. This wasn't just a restaurant, it was a roadside attraction. Travelers stopped to see the architecture, then stayed for supper club classics. turkey, prime rib, Friday fish fries, and old-fashioned ice cream cocktails. For a brief 70s moment, Gobbler was legitimately cool. Space-age design felt modern. The revolving bar was a conversation starter, but novelty wears off. By the 80s, customers paid attention to the food and weren't impressed. Reviews consistently called turkey bland, sides flavorless, and the experience disappointing once you get past the gimmick. A revolving bar can only carry you so far when turkey tastes like cardboard. Traffic declined sharply. By the mid-80s, Gobbler was nearly empty most nights. The restaurant eventually closed. The building has changed hands multiple times. Today, it's a Mexican restaurant. The revolving bar is gone. We'll close with a chain that had everything except the ability to keep what made it great. In 1959, NFL legend Gino Marchetti, a Baltimore Colts defensive end, teamed up with teammates to launch Gino's Hamburgers. Sports celebrity plus quality burgers created instant buzz. The star was the Gino Giant, a massive burger marketed as a feast on a bun. Gino's direct Big Mac challenge. By the early 80s, Gino's operated over 350 East Coast locations. Some partnered with KFC, offering dual menus. The strategy worked. Then corporate made the worst decision in fast food history. They discontinued the Gino Giant. In the early 80s, executives modernized by removing fan favorites, including the defining burger. Customer backlash was immediate and vicious. Sales collapsed. The magic vanished. In 1982, Marriott acquired Gino's and converted most locations into Roy Rogers. The brand, built by NFL legends beloved by millions, disappeared overnight. A later revival attempt as Gino's Burgers and Chicken failed. Original magic couldn't be recreated. When you betray your core product for corporate strategy, customers remember. 10 restaurant chains, billions in revenue, millions of memories, all gone because of the same failures: corporate greed, quality decline, poor management, and the delusion that brand loyalty beats bad food. So here's my question for you. Which one hit hardest? Which restaurant do you miss the most? Was it Bennigan's potato skins, Chi-Chi's fajitas, Beefsteak Charlie's unlimited shrimp? Drop your memories in the comments below. And if you want more nostalgic deep dives like this, hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more stories about the things we loved and lost. Thanks for watching.